This is the Simply Safety version 6 corrective actions movie for users. By the end of this movie, you should be able to explain the connections between modules, add, edit, delete corrective actions, fill in and email corrective actions, enter data into the corrective actions input form, print corrective action reports, print or email work orders, and display safety minutes with related actions. Employers must record hazards and ensure a remedy is applied. The Corrective Actions module is the place to do that. The action taken is logged to prove due diligence. In a typical scenario, a hazard is identified, reported, and recorded. A work order is issued, the problem corrected, and the details logged for future reference. Corrective actions that are added from many modules throughout Simply Safety will go into the Corrective Actions module. You can choose to have these actions show up in your month-end safety meeting report.
I've just opened Simply Safety and clicked on Workplace, and we're about to enter the Corrective Actions module. Keep in mind that there are connections between the Corrective Actions module and many of the other modules, such as injuries or damages or security incidents, where you can add a corrective action from here, and they will end up in the Corrective Actions module. Also, if you so choose, when you're adding a corrective action, when you go to your meetings, they can show up in your meetings, and that's a convenient place to keep track of your actions. I've just opened up the Corrective Actions module. This module is a little bit different from others in that when you open it, it automatically defaults to status incomplete, so we should have a line of pink down the left. All of these items are incomplete. We pick from the status drop-down box, we can change to complete items or all items. Typically what you want to look at is incomplete items. Also, the pick box to the right show future scheduled items. That's referring to the target due date, which would be the first column here, the due date. So that's your target due date. So if we want to look at items where their target due date is within 90 days, I'd select that, and that would change the screen filtering and give you the date range just below that drop-down box. To remove that filter, click on the blue filter in the upper left corner with a red X. In the status line at the bottom of the screen, there's a readout of how many items of which type. We have 6 complete items in this database, 14 incompletes that we're looking at. We have a total of 20 records, so 30% of our corrective actions are complete. To add a new corrective action, just click on the Add button on the bottom right of the screen. To edit a corrective action, click on the silver tab at the left end of a row and click the Edit button, or simply double-click on the item itself. To delete a corrective action, click on the silver tab at the left end of the record row and then press the Delete key on your keyboard. However, it's unusual to delete corrective actions. Since corrective actions form a due diligence trail, they may be legally important in the future. Let's have a look at the information shown on the browse screen. The first column is due date, or target due date, when the corrective action should be completed. Now if I click in that field and go up to the top of the screen under add-ins, I can change the sort order of those records from latest to earliest. And we can change it back again. The second column is action type. So if this action was created from other modules, it may be named after the module name. In this case, it's a safety meeting was created. So if I double click and open up this corrective action, in this box in the lower left we can say related items with safety minute number 2. If I double click on that, this particular safety minutes has been deleted, so we can't open that record. The next item down is action type injury. I'm going to double click to open this corrective action. In the bottom left corner, the related item is an injury, injury number 32. So if I double click on that, that will open up that injury, and on the Actions tab in the injury we can see this same corrective action. So keep in mind, this is the link back and forth between the module that created this particular corrective action. This corrective action here, the action type was left blank as it's not a mandatory field. The third column is a priority status. This is an optional field, but you can sort your priority of corrective actions from 1 to 4, with 1 being the highest. This form also scrolls considerably to the right to reveal more information. To add a new corrective action, click on the Added button at the bottom right of the screen. A form will open. Select the region and the site. The date reported will automatically fill in. You need to pick a target due date that you want this action completed by. Action type and action category are both customizable drop-downs that your safety manager can adjust in the Setup module. Pick the appropriate entry. Next, pick the person that either reported or requested the corrective action, and select a person that this corrective action work order will be issued to. Leave the email checkbox checked if you wish this person to be immediately emailed on this corrective action. Please note that email must be set up in the Setup module for this to work. Add your own customized reference number if you want to track that separately. And if you wish, you can assign this to a toolbox group, and the value of that is later. You can just do some statistics on what toolbox groups are getting what corrective actions. Select an incident location, and again, your safety manager may have to add your locations to this drop-down box. The priority and status drop-downs are optional. Priority is 1 to 4, with 1 being the highest priority. On the right side of the screen, type in the issue description and discussion and the action needed. If you wish this corrective action to appear in your safety minutes, click the Record in Safety Minutes checkbox. Click the Print button on the bottom left corner of the screen if you wish to print a work order. Okay, our new item has now been added to the Corrective Actions browse screen. It's partway down the list as it's sorted on the due date. So I'm going to double click to open this action up, and we can see that the form is slightly changed now. There's some more fields on the form, including a related items form at the bottom left. We don't have a related item because this wasn't added from an injury or a damage or a security, etc. We do have another field on the right, which is corrective actions and comments. So once this corrective action is completed, the manager would be expected to put in what actions were taken to correct it. Also, if we want to remove this corrective actions from the safety minutes, we would add the date into here that we want it to disappear. On the bottom left, there's an email button to send this corrective action to another employee, a print button, and a document tab to link documents. There's also reports for a work order or corrective action item, and an important checkbox at the bottom of the screen is the complete checkbox. When this item is completed, the manager should fill in the corrective actions and comments and click on the complete checkbox. When the complete checkbox is checked, that will add the date to remove the minutes. Since this corrective action is now complete, when I click on Save, the color coding is going to change from pink to cyan, and it's going to disappear into the complete list. Use the print drop-downs at the top left of the screen to print a number of pre-configured corrective action reports. Okay, I've just closed the Corrective Actions module. I'm going down to the Meetings module, clicking on Meetings. I'll click on my first meeting. As we can see under the Actions tab, we've got a red underline, so we've got some overdue actions. Now these two actions are actions that I've asked to be added to the safety meeting minutes. So as we're having our safety meeting, we can go through these corrective actions items, open them up, see if they're actually done, reissue a work order if necessary, and also remove them from the safety minutes. If you have a projection system in your company where you can show the corrective actions up on a screen, this can really help to accelerate your safety minutes meetings.